is there going to be a Ubisoft Forward this year? I've seen some people kind of like discussing what they hope to see at this potential event, but I don't think there's going to be a Ubisoft Forward, to be honest with you, and I'm gonna tell you why in this video and what Ubisoft has been kind of working on right now. Because if we go back to last year, we see join us live from Los Angeles June 10th for updates and upcoming releases, but they posted this tweet on April 3rd, 2024, and it's now May, and we've heard nothing about a potential Ubisoft Forward. And I think the big reason for why we've not heard anything about it yet is that last year they had Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Both were still planned for 2024. Of course, Shadows got delayed in the end. But now, what does Ubisoft have? What do they have this year that warrants them putting on a big show that is usually an hour where they talk about all their sort of stuff? There's like nothing. So if they're gonna put up a show and then have like just a Shadows DLC or something, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So I really think we're not gonna see it. One of the big reasons as well is that, let's see, Far Cry 7 and Maverick, they have been delayed. So first, they had a big Far Cry game, and it makes sense. Like, Far Cry 6 came out in 2021, 4 years for a new Far Cry game. Far Cry 5 came out in 2018, early 2018, so that was like 3.5 years. So yeah, you would think the new Far Cry game is coming out this year. It's not. It has been delayed. So they usually announce these games and then they launch a few months later. So talking about Far Cry 7 right now doesn't really make a lot of sense. And Maverick is an extraction shooter, and that seemingly got rebooted earlier this year. So yeah, no Far Cry this year. So then what else are they going to show? We know about a new Ghost Recon game. Like, of course, Breakpoint was 2019. So we're due for a new Ghost Recon game. We know they've been working on it, codenamed Over. It should be a first-person game instead of a third-person one. Really curious how that's going to go over with people. But yeah, that also seemingly was planned for around this time. But just like almost every Ubisoft project, it has been pushed to 2026. So also, let's look at the other Ubisoft games they got. Let's see, Anno, that's a smaller game. I think that's coming out very soon. Jade is, of course, the mobile game Assassin's Creed. Like, that might be coming out this year, but like last year I went to Ubisoft Forward, and they had this huge theater with 2 games, Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. And in that theater, they also put up the big show. Like, that cost them probably millions of dollars to put up that show. And for a $60 game like Star Wars Outlaws, or $70 right now, and Shadows, that makes sense because they have a huge marketing budget for those. They will not have a huge marketing budget for Assassin's Creed Jade, the free-to-play mobile game, right? Same for the Division mobile game that should also be coming soon. The Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, we learned last year that it's coming in 2026. And that's also a game where it's like, just show it and release it a few months. I don't need to see more. I'm like kind of curious how it looks right now, but they have to just shut up right now, come back, and then release it very, very rapidly afterwards. What else? Hexe is the new mainline Assassin's Creed game. That is, of course, coming out at the end of next year. So yeah, makes sense they're not going to do that. Who knows what's happening with Beyond Good and Evil 2? They had like a new creative director last year or something. Like, that game is still chugging along. Project U is one of their many free-to-play attempts they're still doing. But yeah, you don't want to like have a Ubisoft Forward be about that, because that's gonna rub people the wrong way. I first thought the Splinter Cell remake that is being made by the Far Cry 6 team. So they started working on that at the end of 2021. And yeah, I mean, the concept art has always looked very, very cool, but it's been very quiet with that game. And that's, of course, overall the situation with Ubisoft as well. Inside Ubisoft, they don't even know what the future holds. We, of course, earlier this year had the news that there's going to be a new subsidiary inside Ubisoft with Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and Assassin's Creed. And then you have the old Ubisoft with all the other IPs. But by removing your 3 most profitable franchises from the balance sheet of the rest of Ubisoft, things are not looking good at the other camp that does not have Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. So, like, they're still puzzling that out, and that also makes having a Ubisoft Forward this year kind of weird, because I would not be surprised if some of the games that we're going over here might never see the light of day. I would be sad if we never saw the Splinter Cell remake, because if they've been working on it for 3.5 years, then they are putting the effort in. They're putting the effort in, but we will see. Tom Clancy's Division 3 is being worked on by the creative director of Star Wars Outlaws. So they started last year. This is still far away. And that's kind of all they have here. I mentioned Rainbow Six already. Like, they already had their big coming out party for this. Like, this would have been maybe something you wanted to show at Ubisoft Forward. They got a new map. They're, of course, redoing a lot of, like, technical stuff. I think for the Rainbow Six fans, this is great. But they already had their event in March, where they announced everything. And it's coming out, actually, in June. So, you have this event in June. Ubisoft Forward is usually in June. And then for an update that launches a week later, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to be there. And I really think that overall, what we've really seen with Ubisoft Forward is that it has been stuck in the past. It did not really work anymore. Because last year, it was great. They started with Star Wars Outlaws. Let's actually look at the showcase from last year. Okay, so here we are, Ubisoft Forward 2024. They had the orchestra playing, great stuff. And then they started with Star Wars Outlaws. We got another great look. This was like an amazing showing for the game. They had the sort of gameplay overview trailer and a deep dive like thing. I think this was a really great showing. But after that, so you were like, okay, I'm going to watch this Ubisoft Forward. I can't wait for Outlaws and Shadows. So yeah, you had the Outlaw stuff at the start, and then came the other stuff. Yo guys, we just launched Activiant. Look at this new season that we got coming. Oh, and by the way, we're still supporting Skull and Bones, so check this out. Oh, and by the way, this game that we launched earlier in the year, we got a DLC for that coming. Oh, and by the way, we are also doing a roguelite Prince of Persia game. You totally should check that out. Oh, and by the way, what else do we have? Oh, The Crew. Oh no, we got an Avatar DLC. Oh yeah, by the way, there are new seasons coming to The Crew. We have a new Anno game. Like, it's all sort of stuff you don't care about. Nobody, I mean, I should not say nobody. A lot of people don't care about this stuff. They just want to see Assassin's Creed. So it feels like all of this is, of course, always a commercial. But it feels like you're in the cinema waiting for the movie to start, but you first have to watch 45 minutes of crap you don't care about to get to the main movie. And that's what all the Ubisoft Forwards have been like. So yeah, then we finally got Shadows. Great. But I think it would have been way better, and it would have saved them a lot of money, and they would have probably had way better buzz if they just said, gameplay reveal Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's happening then and then, tune in, and then maybe before that gameplay reveal happens, have an hour where they talk to the people working on Valhalla, where they're like, yo, and we did so much cool stuff during the post-launch, and we can't wait to see what Quebec is doing with Shadows. We are working on Hexay. We can't say much. Like, build anticipate. Just focus on one brand. And they did that with Rainbow Six. That worked out for them. You only have the people that care about that tuning in. These Ubisoft Forwards, I don't think, maybe will never come back. Next year, though, they seem to have a lot, but I don't know. I'm not sure if this is like the right format anymore for them. But yeah, we will see. Let me, of course, know what you think. But yeah, I don't think we will get a Ubisoft Forward this year. And I think that's actually good. Only talk when you have actually something to say. And this year they don't have anything big to say. Of course, you could be like, yo, the Black Flag remake. I want to see that. And I agree. That would be great. But wouldn't that be way cooler if they shadow drop that? They have been looking at Oblivion. They're like, can we do that too? Todd? Can we do that too? So yeah. Let me know what you think. Of course, subscribe for more. Goodbye.